channel after news channel after news channel. Ever wonder why they report the same news? This is Wake Up America.
Brought to you by Citizen Stringer.
The media has become absolute lunacy. What makes us different? We just tell the truth. Daily headlines, politics, social issues, focusing on headlines that the mainstream media ignores. Conservative to the core and honest, sometimes to a fault. Unapologetically American. Welcome to Wake Up America with your host, Stephen Oatley.
Well, welcome everybody, and welcome to the show early Monday morning, October 3rd. And we're going to be talking about, I don't know, whatever's going on in this country. It's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. I wasn't even going to do a show right now. I was going to do it at 10 o'clock because I was just going to let Pizza and Tilly play on Citizen Stringer. However, his show didn't start. And then when I decided that I would go live, then it kicked on. So, whatever. Sorry, Pete. You missed the beat, Pete. Anyway, so yeah, we're live. We're going to talk about some of the big news stories of the weekend, some of the big news stories this week. There is a Homeland Security hearing at 10 o'clock this morning, which is weird because it's actually live in Teaneck, New Jersey versus in, D.C. So we'll cover that hearing because why the hell not, right? We'll hear how white people are evil, right? Because that's what they always say. The major domestic violent threat is white people. They don't say that. They say the DVE, domestic violent extremists, is white supremacy, which is, false. It is just patently false, but who cares? Anyway, I'm Steve, and this is Wake Up America, your morning dose into real news that you're not going to find anywhere else. Anyway, CNN, whatever. Pre-markets this morning are up, which is nice. The Dow pre-market's up 216 points. S&P is also up, and NASDAQ is also up. So maybe there'll be a good day in Wall Street. Maybe you'll get back, a huge percentage or a small percentage of the huge percentage that you lost, right? How's that work? A small percentage of the huge percentage. But we'll see. My guess is that stocks will likely crash. There's going to be some news that comes out today, which causes, mass chaos and all that stuff throughout America. And I wouldn't be surprised about it. But neither should you. Neither should you. One of the big stories coming out of Fox News this morning is the Army is reportedly penalizing soldiers seeking religious exemptions, a religious accommodation to vax mandate as a, quote, technique of coercion. According to Fox News, the U.S. Army is subjecting unvaccinated soldiers to punishments, including prohibited off-base travel, halting promotions, and enforcing involuntary terminations from the service, which active duty service members claim is a strategy to pressure them to abandon their deeply held religious beliefs. An Army spokesperson confirmed to Fox News Digital this morning that unvaccinated soldiers, including those without an approved religious accommodation exemption, are, quote, subject to certain adverse administrative actions, end quote. And then it goes on to requote, saying, soldiers who refuse the order to be vaccinated without an approved or pending exemption request are subject to certain adverse administrative actions, including flags, bars to continued service, and official reprimands, which are also called GOMORS, according to the spokesperson. According to the Army's public coronavirus data statistics, 4,664 active duty soldiers requested a religious exemption to the vaccine, but only 44 of them were granted. That's less than 1%. Yeah, fast financial fact there. Less than 1% of all religious accommodations for the Army have been granted. The Army has enacted 1,722 total separations with unvaccinated soldiers, according to the data. The Army did not detail how many separations were due to having been denied a religious exemption. One current major in Army Special Operations who was deployed to Kabul, Afghanistan last year during the Biden administration's deadly withdrawal has served for almost 11 years, including 3 combat deployments, called it, quote, a technique of coercion being unitized unitized by the military to force voluntary retirements. What the Army is doing, it's a technique of coercion to stall people's careers, to force voluntary retirements, voluntarily exits. In my case, I could be a year behind my peers, and that will have devastating results when it comes to my next promotion, he said. The major explained that due to his unvaccinated status, he's being kept from getting his master's degree at Liberty University, which will stall his career. In addition, he has already bought a house in Virginia and planned to move his family from Fort Bragg to their new home at the end of the summer, but he is now stuck in limbo because he has been barred from traveling. My career is being stalled, he said. They can't claim it's because I'm in the process of having a religious accommodation approved or reviewed, because that in itself is a religious discrimination. And they are cleverly crafting cases, so it appears they're simply losing a higher rate of people to natural exit, not tying it to COVID or their policies. And then he goes on to say, so I was intentionally trying to use my entitlements that I've earned and to demonstrate how they are in a breach of contract in actively preventing their own officers' advancement. And then, Fox News article goes on to describe more occurrences of people that are in the military that are being coerced into getting this vaccination. It's kind of interesting because this morning on Fox News as well, I heard President Joe Biden was talking about a Coast Guard member. He actually invoked him by name, a Coast Guard member that was credited with saving the lives of several people. And Joe Biden mentioned his name during one of his speeches. Well, that Coast Guard member actually spoke to Fox News and said, hey, guess what? I'm getting kicked out of the Coast Guard because I can't get a vaccination, or because I don't want to get a vaccination because of my religious preferences. That same one that Joe Biden praised because of his recovery efforts. Can you imagine that? If you're flying down, you're, rappelling from a helicopter, and you come down and you're like, hey, do you want to get off this flooded island? I just have to tell you, I'm unvaccinated. As if that freaking matters to anyone who's stranded on one of these islands. But apparently, the Biden administration believes it does. So it's interesting because I believe the Marines have a lawsuit and a federal injunction against, people that have been kicked out. I could be wrong about that, but I believe they do against people that have been kicked out of the Marine Corps or that were pending kick out of the Marine Corps. So it's kind of interesting, really, when you think about it. It's kind of interesting. I worked out back on Saturday and chest yesterday, and I am sore as shit. So you're going to see me do a lot of stretching because I am seizing up my muscles. But, just deal with it. Deal with it. Anyway, normally on Mondays, we do our mass shooting report. Typically, I do it at night, but I'm going to do it right now. So stay tuned, buckle up for the next 25 minutes because we have 17 mass shootings to go over. 17 in the past 7 days. There's been 17 mass shootings, and we're going to start back on the 25th, and we're just going to hammer through these one at a time. On the 25th, Hammond, Indiana, police are investigating a shooting that left at least 3 people injured and 1 dead overnight in the 6200 block of Kennedy Ave. Around 1:39 a.m. a week ago yesterday, dozens of shots were heard on nearby Ring cameras. After the shots were heard, police were called for multiple people struck by gunfire, and in the 6200 block of Kennedy at Serenity Hall, Hampton police said, and found at least 1 of the 4 injured had succumbed to his injuries. Lake County coroner released the identity of the victim as Brian Leonard, a 29-year-old from Chicago. Hammond police and EMA taped off the entire block. The other 3 are expected to survive. No suspect information is available. No motive is known for that shooting. Not surprising. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. 4 adults were shot. This is also Sunday morning at an after-hours party in Harrisburg, according to Director Matt Meisel and the Harrisburg police. 3 are in the hospital as of Monday. The shooting happened around the 2300 block of Woodlawn Street around 3 a.m. When police arrived, they found multiple shell casings. So let me skip to the end. Guess what? No suspect information available. Why is this on preview mode? Interesting. No suspect information available. No motive is known for the shooting. Not really that surprising. Well, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, last Sunday as well, I believe it was Sunday. There was I don't remember what day it is. Philadelphia police believe they have found the vehicle used in a deadly ambush shooting near the Roxborough High School Tuesday afternoon. So this was Tuesday. It's just been, this article's been updated. So apparently there was a shooting outside of a high school, and I remember this one. 5 people were injured, or 4. I thought it was 4, but I guess this article is saying 5. But they found the police vehicle. It was used by 5 gunmen who opened fire on a bunch of football players that were exiting a field after a scrimmage, at a high school in Pennsylvania. Broad daylight, 4:30 in the afternoon. A 14-year-old boy was injured or was killed. 4 other teenage children, because that's what they are, were also injured. The victim, the young man that lost his life, was named Nicholas Ellisdale, and he was from Havertown in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. The video released by police, 5 gunmen are seen exiting the light-colored SUV and shooting at the victims. The victims were all just walking on the opposite side of the road on the way to the locker room. 5 people got out of that SUV and opened fire, striking 5 football players. It's insane. But that's just a typical day in America. In Jacksonville, Florida, also on Tuesday, I believe it was, 4 men are suffering from gunshot wounds and have been treated at a Jacksonville hospital. According to the sheriff's office, police were dispatched at 3:45 p.m. to an area near Philip Randolph Boulevard. Sounds like a serial killer name. Philip Randolph Boulevard. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, near Union Street in reference to a shooting. At the same time, the sheriff's office said police were notified of 4 walk-in gunshot wounds to a local hospital. 3 of the men were said to be in stable condition, and a 4th man was in critical condition. No suspect is available. No motive is known for the shooting, but police are saying that at least 2 people walked up and began firing into the group. It does not appear to be random, they said, and there doesn't appear to be a threat to public safety, they're also exclaiming, while they are not releasing any suspect information or any motive for the shooting. And how you could say the public is not in danger when people are randomly shooting each other on the streets, I have no idea. But you know what? We'll leave that for the big fancy police officers. In Goldsboro, North Carolina, also on Tuesday, I believe, the 27th, Goldsboro police said they're investigating after 4 people were shot Tuesday night. Around 11:05 p.m., officers responded to the 1200 block of Olivia Lane in reference to a shot spotter alert. There, they found 3 people shot at the scene. All of them were taken to the hospital. A 4th victim has been taken to the hospital before police arrived. Now, Goldsboro police did identify all of the victims, and they're all alive, so I'm not going to say their names. We will be saying the names of every victim that is killed, but they're all in the 27, 18, 20, and 22. None of the suspect information is available. No motive is known. The police just say they are looking to charge the persons or persons responsible with assault with a deadly weapon, but they don't know who that is, or at least they're not releasing that to the public. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, there was a mass shooting where 1 person was killed, 3 others were injured at an apartment complex, also Tuesday night. Tuesday was a deadly night in America, across America. It's crazy. Anyway, the Chapel Hill Police Department, as well as Chapel Hill Fire and Orange County EMS, responded to the 800 block of Pritchard Avenue extension at University Garden Apartments just after 6:18 p.m. on Tuesday. Police said upon arrival, they found multiple people shot in the area where their apartment building several blocks north of the UNC Chapel Hill campus. Police said on Tuesday night that there was a homicide in which 1 person died at the scene, 2 others were injured. A 4th person was injured, but not by gunfire, police said. The 3 shooting victims were taken to nearby hospitals. Orange County EMS said police do not believe there's an ongoing threat to the public. No suspect information is available. No motive is known for the shooting, like always. Let's go to the next one. Manhattan, New York. Manhattan. 4 people were shot in Harlem. Is Harlem in Manhattan? I didn't think it was. Anyway, a gunman opened fire in a group of people on West 116th Street near St. Nicholas Avenue around 11:45 p.m., striking all 4 men in their 20s. And first responders rushed the victims to the hospital, where authorities described them as all in stable condition. Well, 3 in stable condition. A man who was struck in the leg is in critical condition. Investigators had not announced an arrest or publicly identified a suspect. No motive is known for the shooting. And we're just never going to actually know what's going on. Corona, Queens, New York. 4 innocent bystanders, including 2 teens, were shot in a park. Unbelievable. Police say all 4 victims were shot inside the London Plaintree Skate Park located on Atlantic Avenue and 88th Street in Ozark Park. Witness accounts disagree about where the 2 gunmen came from, but they entered the park and looked around and then pulled out guns and started firing. At least 23 shots were fired in a mad burst of violence with children nearby. One of the victims, police say a 15-year-old girl was shot in the leg and a 16-year-old boy was shot in the back. Both were taken to the hospital in stable condition. A 20-year-old man was shot twice in the leg, and a 32-year-old man was shot in the leg as well. They're both taken to Jamaica in stable condition. All of the victims are expected to survive. No motive is known for the shooting. However, police are saying that this is a known gang hangout, a skate park filled with children, and they believe that this is gang-related. So they don't care about it anymore, and we're not going to hear shit about this because, well, it's gang-related. Media doesn't talk about gang-related shootings. 4 people were shot in Alabama at what they're calling a foot wash festival. That sounds gross, okay? An investigation is underway after 4 people were shot Wednesday following a dispute that started at the annual Foot Wash Festival in Uniontown. Very odd name for a festival. I would not go. You couldn't pay me to go to a foot wash festival. Anyway, the outdoor festival, which includes music and vendors and special socks. I added the socks part because I felt like we needed some levity in this. Levity? I don't know. Whatever. It takes place each year during the last week of September on private land in Perry County. Anyway, District Attorney Michael Jackson, real name, said 2 men came to the party from Indianapolis and got into an argument because one of the men said he wouldn't give the other man a ride back. He then got into his car with another group of males and the dispute continued, leading to shots fired as they had driven away from the festival. At least 4 people were struck at area hospitals and released. The shooting happened around 7 p.m. Jackson said no arrests have been made. The investigation is ongoing by the State Bureau of Investigation and the 4th Circuit Drug Task Force. No arrests have been made. You know who the people are. You know, why aren't they putting suspect descriptions in here? We know why they're not doing it. But that's okay. Where's this one? Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore. When will it stop? 6 people were injured in gunfire, including a Fells Point double shooting overnight on Wednesday. It's Wednesday night. After 2 shootings early Wednesday left 6 people injured by gunfire, including a double shooting that unfolded along a busy stretch of bars and restaurants in Fells Point before closing time, Baltimore residents issued a familiar plea to city officials demanding more action to address the rampant gun violence in their community. However, Baltimore police said it's too early to know whether there are intended targets. Police have not identified a motive or a suspect for any of the shootings. The first shooting was reported around midnight Northeast Baltimore apartment complex in the 5500 block of Bowlees Lane. Police say 3 women, aged 38, 35, and 25, all received gunshot wounds to their lower backs and were hospitalized in stable condition. A man who received similar injuries later walked into a local hospital seeking treatment. Residents of the Sinclair Gate Apartments off Sinclair Lane reported hearing several gunshots and seeing a group of people trying to flee. They said some of the victims collapsed on the street and were later loaded into ambulances. Several people were seen hanging out at the courtyard area and socializing before the shooting, and it seemed like a normal night, they said. No suspect information, no motive is known for that shooting either. Columbus, Ohio. Mass shooting galore, isn't it? I can't even read this one, but apparently in Columbus, Ohio, because this just comes from a police, there's so many shootings in Columbus, they don't even report on them anymore. They just do like a police blotter, and they're like, 7 people shot tonight, 3 people shot this night, 500 people shot here. So they don't reply on it anymore. But yeah, in that one, 5 people were shot. No fatalities, so that's good. Oakland, California had 6 people shot, and this appears to be gang related, so don't really care about it. And I can't read the article because it's behind a paywall, and I'm not paying for none of that. Anyway, in McGregor, Texas, there was a big shooting. Now, we wrote an article on this. Apparently, a man killed his girlfriend and their kid, I believe a teenager. Actually, let me just read this. Yeah, so apparently a guy killed his girlfriend or wife or something and their child, a 14-year-old. Let me just read the article. I should just read it, right? The suspect in the shooting deaths of 5 people in McGregor Thursday morning was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, according to Texas Department of Public Safety. Ryan Howard. Other charges are pending. Nicholas James Hernandez was on the jail roster, but there is no mugshot. Apparently, James Hernandez was shot by police after they arrived at the crime scene on 8th Street in Monroe just after 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. There were 5 victims of his shooting, all fatal. I believe all fatal. Monica Delgado, 38, Miguel Avila, 15, Natalie Avila, 14, Lorenzo Aviles, 47, and Natalie Aviles, 20. Howard said Texas Rangers are leading the investigation. Just trying to see if it talks about it. From what I understand is the man came out, and this article doesn't say it, but from what I understand, he killed the people in his house, and the neighbors came up to try to stop or something like that, and he killed them as well. So it's an incredibly tragic scenario. And I know that we wrote an article. Was he a legal immigrant into the United States? That I don't remember. I know I may be confusing this mass shooting with the one last week from Las Vegas, where that man was not legal. He was not a legal resident in the United States. There was also, 5 people were killed, 1 others were injured, including the gunman in that McGregor, Texas. And in Marks, Mississippi, 5 people were injured after a tailgating party turned violent. At least 5 people were shot at a homecoming celebration, including the county sheriff's office down there in Marks, Mississippi. Apparently the homecoming was cut short Friday night as shots rang out, according to the sheriff's office. Hundreds of people were packed into downtown Marks for a post-tailgating party for Quitman County High School's homecoming game. Investigators report as many as 7 people were shot around 11:45 p.m., and even more were injured as a stampede of people fled the scene. The shooting happened on 1st Street and MLK Jr. Drive in Marks, Mississippi, where there was a tailgating. Why does it keep saying that over and over? Really weird article. No suspect information is available. The sheriff's office initially reported only 5 people were shot. Several others were injured, but later raised that number to 5. They do not have any suspect information available. No motive is known for the shooting. That is not a surprise. That was a really poorly put together article. In Philadelphia, a quadruple shooting on Saturday left 4 people injured. The shooting happened in the 5000 block of Frankfurt Avenue around 2:40 a.m. Police say a 50-year-old man was shot in the chest. He was transferred to the hospital where he's in stable condition. A 20-year-old man suffered a gunshot wound to the face. He was transferred to Jefferson University Hospital in critical condition. The other 2 victims, a 38 and 36-year-old man, were shot once, but are in stable condition. No arrests have been made. No motive is known for that shooting as well. Again, it just keeps going. 2 Berkeley High School brothers were shot and killed at an Oakland house party on Saturday night. An Oakland house party, largely attended by teenagers, turned deadly on Saturday when gunfire erupted inside the home. 2 brothers, both Berkeley High School students, were shot and killed at the house on the 9500 block of Apgar Street just before 10 p.m. The brothers were identified by their family as 15-year-old Angel Sotelo Garcia and Jay-Z Sotelo Garcia. 2 others at the party were also injured during the shooting and rushed to nearby hospitals. A neighbor who asked not to be identified said she ran outside to help one of those victims, but who says she was found lying on the ground screaming, "Help me, I've been shot." That neighbor also said she fashioned into a belt a tourniquet and waited for help to arrive. Hero neighbor. Police have not released the conditions of the 2 other teens who were injured by gunfire. Police are still looking for a suspect and have yet to say what the motive might have been. So no suspect is in custody. And these are just kids. These are just kids. Those 2 brothers had other siblings as well. A 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and 3-year-old. They also leave behind a single mother, a single mom who lost her 2 teenage sons. And likely, we're not going to hear about that on mainstream media. You would think you would think we would, but we won't. Seattle, Washington. This brings it up. This is last night. There were a bunch of shootings in Seattle, Washington. 5 people in total were injured in 3 unrelated shootings between Saturday and Sunday. The first shooting took place in the 4300 block of University Way Northeast. It was a bar. I don't know where this mass shooting is because it said 5 injured and 3 separate shootings. So that's impossible to meet a mass shooting qualifier unless one person was shot twice at 2 different scenes. You know what I mean? Or maybe there was a shooting and no victims. Figured it out. Police said they got a call at 1 a.m. around witnesses that reported a man outside of a well-known bar got into a fight with another man and fired as many as 5 rounds. Police were unable to find the shooter, so that's where. The next shooting responded to an hour later following shots fired a few blocks southeast of Hing Hay Park in Chinatown. 29 shell casings, 2 live rounds, and bullet fragments were found by officers at the scene, while 4 vehicles and 2 buildings were hit by gunfire. No reported injuries from that. So where's the mass shooting one? I'm not seeing it. First shooting took place, it must be this one, in the 4300 block of University Way Northeast. 5 gunshots, blah, blah, blah. When police arrived, they found 4 people had been shot. Police said the victims' injuries were non-life-threatening. Avila helped one of the victims and used his belt as a tourniquet. We keep hearing about civilians using their belts as tourniquets, which is quite impressive. But yeah, 17 mass shootings, several people dead, and several dozen injured. Every single day, we have these mass shootings across the United States, and every single day, mainstream media chooses to do their darndest and not report on it because, well, they don't believe in any integrity whatsoever. You know what other people don't believe in? Driving while not using their phones. How many of you guys saw this tweet that I put out this morning about this car accident? Watch this. You see it right there? He's driving. Boom! Kapow! Shabang! Anyway, that was, you may remember him, Fat Joe, Taco Joe, whatever his name is, first responder media. Apparently was back in his hometown of Bakersfield, California. Don't know if that's his hometown. Don't care, really. When he was driving, and he was thanking someone named Barbara for sending him a $5 super chat when he forgot that he was driving a vehicle and slammed into the rear end of that Jeep. Now, there's not a lot of mention on the victims of that. There is mention, apparently Joe and his wife who was in the car, or I think it's his wife, someone named Irene, who were in the car. They both suffered injuries and the car appeared to be total. Not a lot of information came out about the victims in the Jeep. Now, 3,500 people die each year because of distracted driving. That's why many streaming partners have policies, not against driving while streaming. I think TikTok is the only one that actually bans that. But they have quite a lot of policies in regards to interacting with your chat, which is why, like, when we've done any of our mobile community, we don't read the chat because, well, you can get banned on the platforms you do it. We reached out to Twitch and YouTube to find out what their specific, well, Twitch, we got their specific policy, but we reached out to YouTube to see if distracted driving is a bannable offense. You know, just in a generic email for all you naysayers that are like, oh, Steve reached out to... No, I just reached out generic email to find out because, in fact, they're not the only ones. This happens virtually every day where there's a car accident with distracted drivers who plow into the back of occupied vehicles. But if I was, like, say that was my car and a guy, let's just say that, a streamer smashes into the back of my car, there's going to be hell to pay. I'm going to own his house if he has a house. He won't be buying tacos for a long time if he rear-ended me while live streaming. You know what I mean? Because everyone said he's Taco Joe, whatever that is. Oh, and by the way, what happened to that guy when he went to the border and there was all this weird stuff? He was with some dude named Oscar, and there's all this weird stuff. He was going to help with finances. And then he turned and cut tail and didn't do it. And it's really weird. But he was, many of you guys may remember, he was covering the 1776 restoration movement and the People's Convoy. He was the one that was, big and tough, right? Yeah. I've never heard of him until the People's Convoy, but he was there, I think, on the second turn. I'm not sure if he actually came from the first one, but good for him. Not good for him. I have no idea why I even said that. Bad for him. Don't drive and read your chats, okay? Don't drive and read your chats. And I bet Barbara, who he was thanking for the super chat moments before he plowed in the back of that occupied vehicle, I bet you feel guilty. And you should. Anyway. But, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy stuff. Oh, look at that. I got a 4-time Emmy-nominated anchor reporter following me on Twitter. That's amazing. That's amazing. I like it. What else? What else is going on in the news today? A lot of people are up in arms about this little ad. Have you guys seen this? I haven't even listened to it yet. Let's listen together.
You hate cops just because they're cops? The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
Listen.
You hate cops just because they're cops? The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. You hate cops just because they're cops.
How did you do it without laughing? There's no way I could say that without laughing. I would be laughing my butt off. That's funny. Someone said, what's my Twitter? It's just my name, bro. Just like up there where the Venmo, that's it. Right there. Oh, by the way, send me Venmos and Cash Apps. We need your support to keep being able to bring you the sick-ass fucking news every day. Excuse my language. What else? Oh, for everyone that thinks Democrats do not like DeSantis, this man has something for you to say. Something for you to hear right here. Right there.
That shit about DeSantis, but that gas is here in Arcadia. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it's here in Arcadia. So y'all know who we vote for. I don't know about the rest of you motherfuckers. I'm voting for DeSantis. And I'm a Democrat.
Ooh. I told you that no matter how this plays out, if DeSantis handles this well, he's going to be well positioned for a very, very strong political run in 2024, should he run for president of the United States. Many of you were like, oh, he's not going to run. He's all Florida. Many of you are like, he shouldn't run. President Trump needs to run again. I sincerely hope that DeSantis runs for president of the United States of America. And I hope that he is Trump endorsed, because if he gets the Trump endorsement, if Trump endorses him, it's over. It is over. Also, by the way, you remember what happened 1 year ago today? Do you? Let's Go Brandon was born.
Thank you to all of our partners. Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go Brandon. Brandon, you told
It's so bad because it wasn't even close to Let's Go Brandon, but whatever, she said it, which is funny. And that was a year ago. 1 year ago that was it. It seems like yesterday. It doesn't seem like a year ago, does it? Does it to you? It certainly doesn't to me. What else is new in the news of the day? Is it 9:30? Nope, it's not even 9. Oh my gosh, this day is taking a long time already. It's taking a long time today. Yeah, a bunch of football games yesterday. I watched them lighthearted. Like I watched, what do they call it now? The Commanders, Washington Commanders, with their weird looking jerseys. They've faced the Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys stomped them. I thought about watching the Patriots, but I don't really even care about football anymore. It's too woke for me. I don't like it. And I think the Patriots lost. Who'd they play? The Packers. Here, you want some NFL? Here, let's give all right. NFL. Let me just go through it real quick. Right here. So yesterday, this is last week. What in the hell? All right, so here we go. How come it's got the schedule, but it doesn't have the score? Sunday, October 9th. Oh, that's okay. So the Patriots fell to the Packers 27-24. The Broncos fell to the Raiders 32-23. Cardinals took the Panthers 26-16. The Bills were over the Ravens 23-20. Jacksonville Jaguars suck, and they lost to the Eagles 29-21. I hate the Jaguars. The Cowboys beat the Commanders by 15 points. Atlanta Falcons topped the Cleveland Browns 23-20. The Chargers took on the Texans and swapped them, winning 34-24. The Bears lost to the Giants, so you know you suck if you lose to the Giants, right? Are the Giants a good team now? I have no idea. They never used to be, but they lost by 8 points. Touchdown and a safety. I have no idea if that's it. But by 8 points, they lost 20-12. The Colts lost to the Titans 24-17. The Seattle Seahawks bested the Lions 48-45. That's a high score. 48-45. You don't see scores like that much. From Seattle Seahawks. They must be, their defenses must both suck. Anyway, the Jets actually won once against the Steelers. And I don't know, they could be winning too. The Dolphins suck, and they lost to the Bengals. And the Vikings won over the Saints. Tonight, the game is the Rams and the 49ers. And I'm going to take the Rams by 17. Well, not really. I don't give a shit. I don't even know what the spread is. Like I said, I don't really follow football anymore. Because, it's woke. They have to like 2 national anthems. Don't they? Are they still doing the 2 national anthems? Or did they drop that because of wokeism is not popular anymore? Or is it still popular? I don't know. I can't imagine it is, because the Democrats are all like, ooh, because that's what they, ooh. That's the only cognitive thing I hear from Democrats nowadays. Let's see where the pre-market is for the stocks. Dow pre-market. CNBC, not CNN, BBC. Dow is up 273 points today. Today may be that day to go hit some penny stocks for a day and try to recoup all the money you lost since Biden took office, because he is slowly but surely killing your retirements. Just in case you didn't know. It's true, he is. Yeah, what else? I don't know. Is there anything else? Someone said a non-sports guy talking sports. I was a sports guy. Hell, what? You say non-sports guy. You say non-sports guy? I just don't like woke shit. Okay? Look at that. Non-sports guy? What the fuck is that? It's a whole tattoo full of sports. I just don't like woke. I don't like woke shit. I really don't. I can't help it. I don't like it. I apologize. Someone said I was a lifelong Steelers fan until they pulled the soft protest in the tunnel. Villanova was the only one worth anything, someone said. Larry Cox is always in the chat talking about MAGA this, MAGA that, as if we're some big MAGA fans. He clearly doesn't listen to the show. He must have it on mute. But he said MAGA cult, quote, a belief that a leader is exclusive means knowing the truth or giving validation. Blah. A belief that a leader is right at all times. Blah. You don't watch the show. So why even write that in the chat, Larry? Where are you, on Facebook? Why even write that? Like, do you listen to the show, or do you just like have it on mute and you just type stupid shit in the chat? You know? I'm not a big MAGA guy. Do I believe we should care for America first? Yeah. It's MAGA. Everyone should be a MAGA guy or gal. Not necessarily because you like Trump or anything like that. No, because of what it means. It means making America great again. Do you want this country to be a great country? If you say yes, then technically you fall into that category. If you say no, then get the fuck out. Don't stay here. There's no reason. You know what I mean? If you don't want America to be a great country, then why are you here? Like literally, there are other countries that'll take you. You know what I mean? You don't need to like Donald Trump to be a MAGA guy. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Who won with the Patriots? The Patriots lost. There you go. Supposed to have more info this AM. I have no idea why. For what? More info on what? Colin Kaepernick ruined football for you, someone said. I grew up enjoying football and quit watching for a few seasons. Decided that I won't let things enjoy being taken away, and I'm watching football again. I'll be honest. I started this year just like that. I wanted to do that. I started this year where I'm like, I'm going to watch football too. And I did care. Larry Cox said, Trump GOP cult leaders often promise to reward members in some way. They may tell them that they're going to move up the ranks in a cult or may advance. See, Larry, you're a moron. You are a moron. You are literally making up stuff in the chat. So, April, why don't you go find this fucker and give him a timeout if you on Facebook somewhere, wherever he is. Just give him a time. You don't need to ban him. But you calling people a cult is like would be like me calling Joe Biden supremely intelligent. It's just not true. So don't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, just don't do it. It's just distracting to the people that are actually here to watch or learn something. And nobody likes that. Nobody does. What else? Any of you guys have anything else that went on this weekend that you would like me to address? It's been a crazy day. Been a crazy day. There's a lot of this thing about CNN and DeSantis. CNN was asking about Lee County, and we talked about this last week. How many of you guys saw this little thing? This little interview where CNN was asking about Lee County because Lee County didn't evacuate like right away. And let me try to find this little interview. Yeah, here it is. So CNN apparently was interviewing DeSantis about the hurricane. Lee County is a county that was destroyed by Hurricane Ian, right? Everyone is trying to lay blame on the Lee County because they made the decision a day later or less than 24 hours, but 12 hours later. They didn't make it on a Monday. They made it on a Tuesday to order a mandatory evacuation. And they're, CNN, MSNBC, they are trying just to lay blame on somebody somehow. So CNN has been pumping it through for a while, and a lot of people have heard this, but this is an interview that took place over the weekend between DeSantis. Oh, shit. Oh, crap. Let me resize this thing for you. Actually, let me just go like this. Let me just go. Oh, wait, we don't need this there either. All right, yeah. We'll listen to this. Ready?
To not have that mandatory.
This is 2 minutes. 2 minutes of pure joy and excitement.
Evacuation until the day before the storm.
Well, where was your industry station when the storm hit? Were you guys in Lee County? No, you were in Tampa. So that's, they were following the weather track, and they had to make decisions based on that. But, 72 hours, they weren't even in the cone. 48 hours, they were on the periphery. So you got to make the decisions the best you can. I will say, they delivered the message to people. They had shelters open. Everybody had adequate opportunity to at least get to a shelter within the county. But, a lot of the residents did not want to do that. I think probably for various reasons. Some people just don't want to leave their home, period. They're island people, whatever. But I think part of it was so much attention was paid to Tampa that I think a lot of them probably thought that they wouldn't get the worst of it. So, but they did. And I think it's easy to second guess them, but they were ready for the whole time and made that call when there was justifiable to do so.
Some of their neighboring counties, though, did have mandatory evacuations before Tuesday.
Well, right. But our neighboring, if you look at Tuesday morning, they had moved the track down. Models started showing it going to like Sarasota, so so they did that. I was in Sarasota that day with them when they were expanding some of their evacuations. Charlotte, I think, did the same thing either Monday night or Tuesday morning. But don't forget, Sunday, 11 a.m. advisory, it was going to go to Taylor County in North Florida. And so, at some point, you got to look to see kind of where this thing is going. So, I think that it's easy to say in hindsight, we had most of our supply station in the Tampa Bay area. As that track moved, we shifted our response further south as well. Now, we said there would be impacts for sure. And even when it was going to hit North Florida, it's such a big storm, there was going to be impacts in southwest Florida as well. But the difference between impacts and having the eye go there is much different. And for most of Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday, it was 150 miles away from them.
Yeah, so I think DeSantis did a great job so far, and handling what's been transpiring over there. I think he did a great job, and do I think he owns CNN? No, I think he did. I think he spoke to CNN. Everybody is on this like, oh, he needs to own them, own the media. Carrie Lake, own the media, blah. And Carrie Lake has. And some of her things where they go to ask her questions and she's like, oh, I'm not going to answer you. They asked a question about Katie Holmes or they asked a question about Carrie Lake's stance on abortion. That was a good clip. Let me find that one. That was a good little one. Let me see if I can't find that, because they were asking her stance on abortion and she fired back because Katie Hobbs will not answer the question. Watch this clip. This is a good one. 1.29, right? 1.29.
Abortion is effectively banned in the state right now. Tell me, is that something that you support?
I support saving as many lives as possible. And what I really want to know, and I've been waiting, I tune into you guys all the time. I want to know where Katie Hobbs stands, but I never hear you guys ask her that. I'm pro-life. My plan would be that every woman who walks into an abortion clinic know that there are options out there. They don't have to choose that. There's families who would love to adopt a baby. And right now, the way it's been going, they go in and they only have one option.
That's it.
Nobody tells them that there's other options. We want to help our women. If they're afraid, we want to help them. We want to give women health care, and I want to help people. But I really challenge you, and I'm happy to get back to you on this, when you find out where Katie Hobbs stands, because let me tell you where she stands. She supports abortion right up until birth and after birth.
That's right.
She supports if a baby survives a botched abortion, that baby die on a cold metal tray.
True.
And none of you ever try to get her to talk about her stance. So get back to me after you do. And tell her.
Rage. Like, that was a good, that's owning the press right there. That was a good one. I see there's a little confusion on YouTube about whether I believe in cults. Of course I believe in cults. Do I believe that people that follow Trump are in a cult? Absolutely not. Nor do I believe that people that are in my chat are cultists. And that's what I was addressing when I was talking about cults before. Do I think Donald Trump or is leading a cult? Absolutely not. And that's it. And to be honest, I think the word cult is overused. I've used it myself. I've said the 1776 Restoration Movement is a little culty. I've said that myself, and everyone's like, oh, you can't say they're a cult. You don't know the fundamentals of a cult. I don't give a shit. I think they're all weird. You know what I mean? I think some Trump supporters are weird. I think many leftists are weird. I think people are weird. Everyone passes judgment. But, however, to call everyone in this chat a cultist is just stupid. I'm not even going to call it irresponsible. I'm going to call it stupid. Stupid. Speaking of stupid, there's still all of this talk about whether or not Russia is behind the Nord Stream 2 bombings. Have you guys seen this clip from CNN? I'm getting goofy, guys. Sorry.
Those mysterious leaks in the Nord Stream pipelines, sabotage. The gas pipelines, there's two of them. They run from Russia to Europe. And this comes at a tipping point time for Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. Overnight, the Russia director John Brennan and the author of Undaunted, My Fight Against America's Enemies at Home and Abroad, which is now on sale in paperback. I do want to ask you about what this may mean. These sham voting results.
All right, fuck it. This is an old one. I thought this was a different clip that I saw earlier, but it's not, so I'm not going to play that clip. But John Brennan did get up here and he's like, yeah, Russia's behind it. Like, who was the State Department guy? Was it Kirby? I think it was Kirby. Let me see. Was Kirby, did he hold that press conference where he said, holy shit, don't look up Kirby on Twitter. It just shows like little cartoons. Was it John Kirby that said the bombing gives America a hell of a strategic advantage over Russia? Do I believe Russia blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline? No. Do you know why? Because he could have shut it off. It literally makes no sense for him to blow it up. He literally could just shut it off. He controls, and it wasn't even on. Nord Stream 2 wasn't even on. Nord Stream 1 had some gas running through it when they blew it up. But then again, he could have turned it off. It doesn't make any sense for him to blow it up. It's kind of like equating the January 6th riot to say that Donald Trump was hoping for that to happen, because it literally makes no sense when you actually think about it through rational thought that Donald Trump would want them to riot at the Capitol. Everyone can make the argument and say, oh, it's because they wanted him to overthrow it. Nah, not really. He wanted them to object to the electorate, which they would have continued to do. Would it have failed? Yeah, absolutely. But that evidence would have been presented to one of the most highly contentious elections in at least my life. Anyway, let me see here. Actually, I don't know if, was it John Kirby or that said, maybe it wasn't John Kirby. I don't know who it was, to be honest. Was it Jake Sullivan? Let me see. Jake Sullivan, you may remember him. He was in the White House press conference last week. He's also the one that is a moron and promoted that Russia collusion speak. Maybe it wasn't Jake Sullivan either. I don't know who it was. It was Blinken. Oh, Anthony Blinken. Tony Blinken. Non-Blinken Blinken. Let me see where that is. Let me just look Blinken, because I wrote Tony, and he's not cool enough to go by Tony. I think he still goes by, yeah. So here's the caption. This is a good one. The caption on this said, something about Blinken screams weakness. And he does. He talks like Obama. You know, is that weakness? I don't know. Listen.
Ultimately, this is also a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous opportunity to once and for all remove the dependence on Russian energy, and thus to take away from Vladimir Putin the weaponization of energy as a means of advancing his imperial designs. That's very significant, and that offers tremendous strategic opportunity for the years to come. But meanwhile, we're determined to do everything we possibly can to make sure that the consequences of all of this are not borne by citizens in our countries, or for that matter, around the world.
So isn't it weird? Isn't it weird how the government and NATO and the United States government is saying Russia is behind the sabotage of those pipelines, even though it literally makes no sense whatsoever. And the people that gain to benefit are the ones that are alleging the allegation. It's very similar to what happened on January 6th. I keep saying it because it's true and extremely relevant. That is what happened on January 6th. The storming of the Capitol, which apparently was meant to overthrow the government, but yet they didn't even have guns. None of it really makes any sense. Like, when you think about it, when you really, like all you leftist morons out there, like when you really think about it, how does storming the Capitol help further the overthrow of the government, especially when you don't have any weapons and all of your opposition does? It doesn't make any sense, right? So the only thing you could think of, okay, yes, it was a riot. There was no differentiating between that and an attack on a courthouse in, say, Portland for 160 days straight. Except, well, yeah, they used Molotov cocktails, improvised explosive devices, things like that. Weapons, they literally killed people. You know, those kind of things are quite a bit different. But they don't talk about the Portland riots or them attacking federal courthouses throughout the United States, or them, you know, attacking police stations, or them attacking ICE stations. Nobody talks about that kind of stuff. They talk about January 6th. And that is the when you think about it, it literally doesn't make sense. Like I challenge all of you guys just to sit back, take off your leftist lenses, and just pay attention to what actually transpired that day. Was it a riot? Absolutely. Do all the criminals who committed crimes that day deserve to be locked up? Absolutely. We agree. The majority of rational Americans agree with you. And yes, I will say the people that believe that was their constitutional duty to storm the Capitol, you are not a rational American. You are a moron because it wasn't your constitutional duty. That would be like saying it's my constitutional duty to go take your car because I want it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And a lot of people pretend like it does. And a lot of people still defend those actions. And with that said, I got to go through the disclaimer. No, I do not believe that any of the January 6th defendants right now are getting due process. Not a single one of them. Do I believe they all need to be immediately released from jail? No. But do I believe they should be given due process and bail? Yeah. Because here's the truth. One of the most violent acts that day, one of the few people that actually possessed a weapon inside of the Capitol, and one of the few people that is facing 7 federal felonies, including lying to feds, possessing a weapon inside the Capitol. That person is currently out of jail. He's still facing, he didn't have to put bail up or anything. He is currently out of jail. His name is John Sullivan, and everybody can look that up. So tell me how John Sullivan, let's talk about white privilege for a second. You want to know what white privilege is? Apparently, when it comes to J6 defendants, that should be an article. J6 defendants, or some charged, like white privilege is a myth. You could prove it that way, right? Because a black dude, John Sullivan, half and half, whatever, he is currently out in Utah doing whatever he's doing, facing 7 federal charges. He originally faced 4, but he got 3 more because he lied to the feds after the fact. Everyone could look up his case. He's the one that had the knife. He's the one that was breaking windows inside the Capitol. He's the one that was documenting it all, but he was charged with it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But what happened to white privilege? Everyone said there's white privilege. Why is it the majority of the people that were arrested for the riot at the Capitol are white and have been remanded without bail? Just being honest. Just being honest. Someone's hitting the wall. Maybe I'm talking too loud. Whatever. I don't have a choice. This is my job. Someone next door, I don't know what they're doing. They must not like what I'm saying. But this is literally what I do for a living. But yeah, those are the facts. How did you make this about white privilege? Is there such a thing? No, there isn't. What I'm saying is there's no such thing as white privilege. Because if there were, then the people that have been arrested for January 6th wouldn't be in jail. Those are the bricks. Those are the facts. See what I did? Salty said lefties, well, Steve, his dad is white. That's not his real dad. He's adopted. Trust me, we've been talking about John Sullivan since before January 6th. Our first article we wrote about him was in September. I think September 20th of 2020. 4 months before the riot at the Capitol. But you know what? That's just because we're journalists and we actually do a little bit of background on something. Mike Goldberg said, again, for the 18th time in the chat, he said Nevada governor's debate airs tonight in Nevada. Yes, we saw that. That's cool. Someone said, I'm saying there is, and you are making a false argument. There's no such thing as white privilege, and I don't care what you said. Because you know what? I'm white, if you can't tell. I know. It's not, a lot of people are like, no, that's my real skin color. The rest of me is just a birthmark. Nope. And I've never had any privilege. I grew up poor as fuck. You know what I mean? All this white privilege that everybody say exists, well, where the fuck was mine? So, and so until anybody has a concrete answer for that, we grew up poor, we grew up struggling, we grew up crime and all. I literally had every single disadvantage placed in front of me. And I didn't get scholarships because of my race or anything like that. There was no opportunity. So let's not talk about white privilege, because unless you can prove how I benefited from white privilege, it's a myth. And I can tell you I didn't. There's so much about my life that maybe only 1 or 2 people in this chat know. which is a perfect exhibit of why there's no white privilege. Someone said using one example doesn't make you an argument. No, but it's the only one that matters because I am the one doing the talking here. Does that make sense? This is my show. So I can make the conclusion that white privilege doesn't exist based on my example. That's the beauty of running your own YouTube channel and the beauty of talking and doing this for a living. It's quite impressive. You literally can make up your own determination on what is real or not. You know, like it's amazing. You know, my entire life of proof there's no such thing as well as white privilege. I grew in Southwest Detroit and ended up in all the same places and worse than my black and brown neighbors. Yes, everybody does. White privilege exists in Martha's Vineyard. There's no such thing as white privilege. I mean, there truly isn't. Could you make an argument that there's a black privilege now? Yeah. Or a minority privilege or a women privilege? Yeah, sure. I'll be honest with you. A white male does not get hiring preference. They do not get grants. They do not get scholarships purely based on being white. We are the only person that doesn't. The only group, the only ethnicity, whatever. Think about that. Bank of America just said they were going to give out loans and lower the requirements for people that are minorities in order to get home loans. That is extremely racist. If they did that and said, we are going to give these home loans only to white people and were public about it, then that would also be racist. Everyone would be up in arms about it. It's really crazy when you think about it that on that level. Jack Straw is like, yeah, you're not a journalist. Have fun talking nonsense. That's what people do, is they just refer to insults at that point. Congratulations, Jack. You just proved a point. You're a moron. Because that's all people do. When they're up against a wall and they have nowhere to turn, they result to name calling. Congratulations. You win. So stupid. Someone said, I encountered a lot of nepotism at different jobs in different things that I attended in life, but as for white privilege, I don't know. Yeah. Isn't it weird that the only people that believe in white privilege are people that are either, because you can be a privileged white person. Do you understand that? See, there's a difference. To say white privilege applies to everybody and then say, I'm not debating that there are privileged white people, because there certainly are. There are people that don't have to work a day in their life and still are worth millions of dollars. Look at Hunter Biden. He is a perfect example of a privileged white person. But think about, you're saying by that regard, there's no privileged black people? What about Jay-Z's and Beyonce's son or daughter, whatever the hell it is? You're telling me that child is not going to grow up privileged? Oprah Winfrey, does she have kids? I have no idea. But are they not privileged? John Sullivan, the rioter from January 6th that is out on bail, or out without even having to post bail. You're telling me that him growing up in a mansion and being an Olympic qualified speed skater doesn't give him some sort of privilege over me? Come on. Come on. It's crazy. Someone said, I grew up poor. Nikki said, I grew up poor and worked hard for everything I have now. Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people do it. Someone said, Jack left the chat. Hopefully he did it on his own. Hopefully no one banned him. But yeah. Someone said, this is what Barney, Frank, and Chris Dodd did to the housing market a long time ago in the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac housing market crash. They gave huge loans to minorities that couldn't pay. It's the same thing, because now what they're trying to do is get all these people. What they're trying to do is get all these people to take out loans at 6, 7, 8%, whatever the FHA loan, the average housing rate loan is now. People that don't qualify financially are now going to be eligible to get these loans according to these banks. What's going to happen as the market continues to tank and as people are no longer able to afford? Like, for example, we were looking, I'm not going to say that. We were looking at potentially moving and buying a home somewhere else. There's a minuscule I'm not even talking about it, but there may be something happening in the future. And so we were just like, kind of fucking fantasizing, essentially. And we were looking at the type of home we can get somewhere else in a different state versus here. And then I'm like, holy crap, like our house, we pay we paid too much for the house because we bought it in a housing bubble. Now the housing bubble is bursting. The interest rates are through the roof. Housing prices are coming down. And then I look at, so a $250,000 home, which we have here, down in Florida, or down, not in Florida, but, halfway between here and there, that amount of money buys a much bigger home. But then you got to sacrifice the interest rate. So no matter what, even if we finance the same amount of money as we finance now, we're going to end up paying an extra $300 or $400 a month based on the interest rate, which is crazy. It's crazy, but crazy stuff. Coffee is great this morning, someone said. Bedford said your mortgage will be paid off in 4 more years. Virginia Realtor, will help you buy a new house if you need one. You see, the Yeeter Squad is everything. Okay, we have police, we have federal law enforcement, we got realtors, we got bank loans, we got everything. Except, how do you guys like the name Cafe Gratis? Do you like that name? Cafe Gratis? Let's see. Let's see what you guys say in the chat. If you like the name Cafe Gratis, let me know. And who knows what gratis means? I'll give you a hint in Latin. What's it mean in Latin? Oh, I just got a $50 Venmo. Shout out to Leslie for caring about our show. Fuck yeah, Leslie. You rock. You're my favorite, Leslie. Yeah, I'm going to write this show is sponsored by Leslie right here. You want your name here? Send a super chat. Watch this. Look at that. Right there. because she just sent a $50 super, chat. No, not, what is it? Not a Venmo. She went to the Venmo right there and sent it. Show is sponsored by Leslie until someone else does a bigger one. Oh, that's why my chat wasn't scrolling. Free. Yeah, you guys see what it means. Yeah, cafe free, right? Because I guess in Latin, does anyone actually know? Would you write cafe gratis or gratis cafe? Would it be free cafe or cafe free? Because the way we're thinking is that gratis would come after, because cafe would be a noun, I think. So like my wife and I had a big conversation about this last night because we're like, which one goes first, right? And we couldn't figure it out. But it means free. But which makes sense, right? Because if you guys know the premise of our coffee thing, right? Free coffee shop, right? So what better name just instead of Pure Truth Coffee? Because we've run into some advertising hiccups because people go on the website and they're like, oh, your coffee, you've got a Sleepy Joe Biden decaf. We can't advertise with you. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to work on that. And then, yeah, there's just so many things. I had a couple of meetings this weekend or conversations this weekend that have really put it in a perspective, have put everything in a perspective, to be honest. Someone said, if you said cafe, coffee in English, it would be in the order we're used to. I don't know what you mean. So what are you saying that it would be gratis coffee? Like either one doesn't really matter. Cafe gratis sounds good. I know, right? For free coffee shops opening in neighborhoods near you. Yeah, I think so too. Don't use the word free. I hate that word. Nothing in life is free. Well, yeah, except the coffee. It actually is free. But because we found out to do it. But see, I can't use free coffee unless someone has $30,000 and wants to buy the website for me, because freecoffee.com is taken. And they wanted I think they said they wanted $27,000 for it when I called them. Fuckers. We have justfreecoffee.com. I already own that one. You know what I mean? But the cafe gratis too is still expensive. It is what it is. Someone said reverse, I think. The noun first and verb second, like in Spanish. Yeah, I think so too. So it would be cafe free, which would stand for free cafe, which means, wait, free coffee, that's sick. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, many of you guys are new. So we own a coffee company called Pure Truth Coffee, right? And it's super good, but it's political because it's based off, the show that we've been doing. We've had it open, the coffee side, for over a year now. And we've always just been a political talk show. Now we're kind of switching to more of like a rational thought show, still about politics and stuff, but at least a little rational, although I am conservative as fuck. But I wanted to do something different, right? So we started printing cups. You guys want to see one? I'll show you. Because they're cool. All right, so we started printing cups, just regular paper cups. But what we do is we custom print an ad right on it, right? And then we have dynamic QR codes and all that good stuff. And the ad supplements the cost of the coffee. So we're able to actually give the coffee away for free. So that's what we're doing. And we've been planning on opening for a while, but I was trying to figure out like how we do it all. And so we've been doing it at like Trump rallies and different freedom fests and stuff and giving out the coffee, which has been working really well. But I wanted to find a different way. And of course, not everybody just wants a cup of coffee. Some want lattes and stupid shit like that. So we've been trying to figure out a way to, do it. And because we can print the paper cups, even, cappuccino cups, everything. We can print them all custom. They just take a long time. But yeah. So we're opening. I'm trying to, we have the store, which someday will open. But I'm trying to decide, do I want to do a trailer or do I want to do something else? Joe Phillips said $50 through Cash App, still in pending status for over a week. I don't know why something would be in pending status on Cash App. I did get your email and you asked if I got it. And I will check right now, Joe. I try not to do it while I'm live on a show. But I will for you right now. I don't know who you sent it to. I mean, maybe you didn't send it to me. I do not have any $50 cat. Oh, Joe. No, I have a $20 one from Joe Powell. You know who you are if that's you. That's 20, but that's already gone through. And that's it, buddy. I don't have any others. So I would check and make sure that you sent it to the right one. Yeah, this is July, and then now we're back in June. So I don't have any, but there you go. Buy an electric water steamer, just put milk in it. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. There's all sorts of different ways. Someone said, thanks for the money, Steve Oatmeal here, got him. I don't know what that even means. But yeah, there's a lot of things. Someone said, logo it gratis, horizontal and cafe, vertical through gratis, sharing the letter A. And let people say it, however. Oh, yeah, maybe. Sounds like someone's right outside my door. But yeah. There's a lot of crazy stuff. Maybe start with a trailer so we could take it to rallies. Yeah, we do have a big trailer, but that's what I was doing, is calling the bank because the way the trailer works, it's kind of like a rent to own thing, or like a lease. I'm essentially renting the trailer, but I can return it at any point. So I wanted to ask them, can I switch this out for a smaller trailer? So someone else told me to open a coffee shop in Portland. They love me there. Yeah. Someone said do Nitro Brew. We're gonna do a lot. If I was able to get a ton of people, if I was able to get a ton of people to contribute, or just investments, because in all reality, someone asked me the other day and they're like, listen, what would you need to do? They were essentially like, stop everything else and just focus on the free coffee idea. Like not even Pure Truth Coffee, none of that. Just focus on that. What would you need in order to take it off? And I was like, at minimum, I will need 50 grand at maximum to be able to print the cups ourselves, because I would need a lot more. a multiple of 5 of that. So, and then people are like, how come you haven't done a pitch deck? And I'm like, I don't know, because I have no time whatsoever. But did I ship the K-Cups? Yeah, some of them went out. We have 2 French roast, pardon my French roast, 24 packs went out. I have 2 Flying High 24 packs printed and ready. But nope, not yet. So, but we shipped out those. And that's it. Someone said, stick with coffee. I carry my own creamer. Yeah, we're just going to change the way I do some stuff. You'll see over the next course of the days, we'll see what happens. Things are going to be different. But yeah, what else is going on? What time is it? 9:30. Fuck, this show is taking forever. What else is going on in the news? The stock market doesn't open until 9:30, right? What time is it? 9:30? It is 9:30 on the dotto. So the Dow should be, let's see where the Dow pre-market. Why isn't it showing? Dow future rises, Wall Street rallies. It was saying up, but now it's not showing shit. Still down 359 over the past 3 days. Dow futures rise, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. Market watch. So the Dow is up 352 points so far, or 1.23%. That's what it opened at. So that's good. That's good. Did I see the speech by the Russian president? Yeah, we aired it. Someone said, Steve, what logo is that on your hat? This is Pure Truth Coffee, our other coffee company. The dollar is higher than the euro. Yep. I think I've seen that too. Let me see what else is on the social media trends right now. Boom, 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 boom. I got to eat a banana because I'm hungry, and I'm not doing it on the live stream. So I may have to end a little bit early because I'm starting to get hungrier as I go. I'm trying to just see if there's anything else worth talking about right now, or even if you guys know anything that you want to talk about, we could talk about that. But like I said, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to play on Citizen Stringer. And it's only on Citizen Stringer, keep in mind, but I am going to play the Committee on Homeland Security, unless I just leave this whole live stream up. I just don't have anything to talk about for a half an hour. I don't. What I could do is play the first half hour of this again. Should I just do that? Let's be like, fuck it. Fuck it. Just do it again. Do is play the first half hour, because I could just keep it going. Maybe I should do that. Because look, that's how high tech we are. I could just look at that. That's me. And then, well, fuck. Where's the other one? Right there. Boom. And then I could just make that big. Maybe I'll just do that. So I will take a half an hour and then we'll put the hearing on at 10 o'clock. So everyone stay tuned. This is live programming at its finest.
Channel after news channel after news channel. Ever wonder why they report the same news? This is Wake Up America.
Brought to you by Citizen Stringer.
The media has become absolute lunacy. What makes us different? We just tell the truth. Daily headlines, politics, social issues, focusing on headlines that the mainstream media ignores. Conservative to the core and honest, sometimes to a fault. Unapologetically American. Welcome to Wake Up America with your host, Stephen Oatley.
Well, welcome, everybody, and welcome to the show early Monday morning, October 3rd. And we're going to be talking about, I don't know, whatever's going on in this country. It's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. I wasn't even going to do a show right now. I was going to do it at 10 o'clock because I was just going to let Pizza and Tilly play on Citizen Stringer. However, his show didn't start. And then when I decided that I would go live, then it kicked on. So whatever. Sorry, Pete. You missed the beat, Pete. Anyway, so yeah, we're live. We're going to talk about some of the big news stories of the weekend, some of the big news stories this week. There is a Homeland Security hearing at 10 o'clock this morning, which is weird because it's actually live in Teaneck, New Jersey versus in, D.C. So we'll cover that hearing because why the hell not, right? We'll hear how white people are evil, right? Because that's what they always say. The major domestic violent threat is white people. They don't say that. They say the DVE, domestic violent extremists, is white supremacy, which is, well, false. It is just patently false, but who cares? Anyway, I'm Steve, and this is Wake Up America, your morning dose into real news that you're not going to find anywhere else. Anyway, what is it? CNN, whatever. Pre-markets this morning are up, which is nice. The Dow pre-market's up 216 points. S&P is also up, and NASDAQ is also up. So maybe there'll be a good day in Wall Street. Maybe you'll get back, a huge percentage or a small percentage of the huge percentage that you lost, right? How's that work? A small percentage of the huge percentage. But we'll see. My guess is that stocks will likely crash. There's going to be some news that comes out today, which causes, mass chaos and all that stuff throughout America. And I wouldn't be surprised about it, but neither should you. Neither should you. One of the big stories coming out of Fox News this morning is the Army is reportedly penalizing soldiers seeking religious exemptions, a religious accommodation to vax mandate as a, quote, technique of coercion. According to Fox News, the U.S. Army is subjecting unvaccinated soldiers to punishments, including prohibited off-base travel, halting promotions, and enforcing involuntary terminations from the service, which active duty service members claim is a strategy to pressure them to abandon their deeply held religious beliefs. An Army spokesperson confirmed to Fox News Digital this morning that unvaccinated soldiers, including those without an approved religious accommodation exemption, are, quote, subject to certain adverse administrative actions, end quote. And then it goes on to requote, saying, soldiers who refused the order to be vaccinated without an approved or pending exemption request are subject to certain adverse administrative actions, including flags, bars to continued service, and official reprimands, which are also called GOMORS, according to the spokesperson. According to the Army's public coronavirus data statistics, 4,664 active duty soldiers requested a religious exemption to the vaccine, but only 44 of them were granted. That's less than 1%. Yeah, fast financial fact there. Less than 1% of all religious accommodations for the Army have been granted. The Army has enacted 1,722 total separations with unvaccinated soldiers, according to the data. The Army did not detail how many separations were due to having been denied a religious exemption. One current major in Army Special Operations who was deployed to Kabul, Afghanistan last year during the Biden administration's deadly withdrawal has served for almost 11 years, including 3 combat deployments, called it, quote, a technique of coercion being unitized by the military to force voluntary retirements. What the Army is doing, it's a technique of coercion to stall people's careers, to force voluntary retirements, voluntarily exits. In my case, I could be a year behind my peers, and that will have devastating results when it comes to my next promotion, he said. The major explained that due to his unvaccinated status, he's being kept from getting his master's degree at Liberty University, which will stall his career. In addition, he has already bought a house in Virginia and planned to move his family from Fort Bragg to their new home at the end of the summer, but he is now stuck in limbo because he has been barred from traveling. My career is being stalled, he said. They can't claim it's because I'm in the process of having a religious accommodation approved or reviewed, because that in itself is a religious discrimination. and they are cleverly crafting cases so it appears they're simply losing a higher rate of people to natural exit, not tying it to COVID or their policies. And then he goes on to say, so I was intentionally trying to use my entitlements that I've earned and to demonstrate how they are in a breach of contract and actively preventing their own officers' advancement. And then, Fox News article goes on to describe more occurrences of people that are in the military that are being coerced into getting this vaccination. It's kind of interesting because this morning on Fox News as well, I heard President Joe Biden was talking about a Coast Guard member. He actually invoked him by name, a Coast Guard member that was credited with saving the lives of several people. And Joe Biden mentioned his name during one of his speeches. Well, that Coast Guard member actually spoke to Fox News and said, hey, guess what? I'm getting kicked out of the Coast Guard because I can't get a vaccination, or because I don't want to get a vaccination because of my religious preferences. That same one that Joe Biden praised because of his recovery efforts. Can you imagine that? If you're flying down, you're, rappelling from a helicopter and you come down and you're like, hey, do you want to get off this flooded island? I just have to tell you, I'm unvaccinated. As if that freaking matters to anyone who's stranded on one of these islands. But apparently, the Biden administration believes it does. So it's interesting because I believe the Marines have a lawsuit and a federal injunction against, people that have been kicked out. I could be wrong about that, but I believe they do against people that have been kicked out of the Marine Corps or that were pending kick out of the Marine Corps. So it's kind of interesting, really, when you think about it. It's kind of interesting. I worked out back on Saturday and chest yesterday, and I am sore as shit. So you're going to see me do a lot of stretching because I am seizing up my muscles. But, just deal with it. Deal with it. Anyway, normally on Mondays, we do our mass shooting report. Typically, I do it at night, but I'm going to do it right now. So stay tuned, buckle up for the next 25 minutes because we have 17 mass shootings to go over. 17 in the past 7 days. There's been 17 mass shootings, and we're going to start back on the 25th, and we're just going to hammer through these one at a time. On the 25th, Hammond, Indiana, police are investigating a shooting that left at least 3 people injured and 1 dead overnight in the 6200 block of Kennedy Ave. Around 1:39 a.m. a week ago yesterday, dozens of shots were heard on nearby Ring cameras. After the shots were heard, police were called for multiple people struck by gunfire, and in the 6200 block of Kennedy at Serenity Hall, Hampton police said, and found at least one of the 4 injured had succumbed to his injuries. Lake County coroner released the identity of the victim as Brian Leonard, a 29-year-old from Chicago. Hammond police and EMA taped off the entire block. The other 3 are expected to survive. No suspect information is available. No motive is known for that shooting. Not surprising. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. 4 adults were shot. This is also Sunday morning at an after-hours party in Harrisburg, according to Director Matt Meisel and the Harrisburg police. 3 are in the hospital as of Monday. The shooting happened around the 2300 block of Woodlawn Street around 3 a.m. When police arrived, they found multiple shell casings. Let me skip to the end. Guess what? No suspect information available. Why is this on preview mode? Interesting. No suspect information available. No motive is known for the shooting. Not really that surprising. Well, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, last Sunday as well, I believe it was Sunday, there was I don't remember what day it is. Philadelphia police believe they have found the vehicle used in a deadly ambush shooting near the Roxborough High School Tuesday afternoon. So this was Tuesday. It's just been, this article's been updated. So apparently there was a shooting outside of a high school. And I remember this one, 5 people were injured, or 4. I thought it was 4, but I guess this article is saying 5. But they found the police vehicle. It was used by 5 gunmen who opened fire on a bunch of football players that were exiting a field after a scrimmage, at a high school in Pennsylvania. Broad daylight, 4:30 in the afternoon. A 14-year-old boy was injured or was killed. 4 other teenage children, because that's what they are, were also injured. The victim, the young man that lost his life, was named Nicholas Ellisdale, and he was from Havertown in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. The video released by police, 5 5 gunmen are seen exiting the light-colored SUV and shooting at the victims. The victims were all just walking on the opposite side of the road on the way to the locker room. 5 people got out of that SUV and opened fire, striking 5 football players. It's insane, insane. But that's just a typical day in America. In Jacksonville, Florida, also on Tuesday, I believe it was, 4 men are suffering from gunshot wounds and have been treated at a Jacksonville hospital. According to the sheriff's office, police were dispatched at 3:45 p.m. to an area near Philip Randolph Boulevard. Sounds like a serial killer name. Philip Randolph Boulevard. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, near Union Street in reference to a shooting. At the same time, the sheriff's office said police were notified of 4 walk-in gunshot wounds to a local hospital. 3 of the men were said to be in stable condition, and a 4th man was in critical condition. No suspect is available. No motive is known for the shooting, but police are saying that at least 2 people walked up and began firing into the group. It does not appear to be random, they said, and there doesn't appear to be a threat to public safety, they're also exclaiming, while they are not releasing any suspect information or any motive for the shooting. And how you could say the public is not in danger when people are randomly shooting each other on the streets, I have no idea. But you know what? We'll leave that for the big fancy police officers. In Goldsboro, North Carolina, also on Tuesday, I believe, the 27th, Goldsboro police said they are investigating after 4 people were shot Tuesday night. Around 11:05 p.m., officers responded to the 1200 block of Olivia Lane in reference to a shot spotter alert. There, they found 3 people shot at the scene. All of them were taken to the hospital. A 4th victim has been taken to the hospital before police arrived. Now, Goldsboro police did identify all of the victims. I don't know why the picture is turning super red. I'm waiting to see what it does on this other one when it switches over. But I'm like watching myself on Citizen Stringer and I'm like fading in. And I'm wondering if it just has to do with the background. You know, I don't know. So I may switch over and just jump into a tunnel real quick and see if that fixes it. Because it's still red on Citizen Stringer. And I don't know why. It's very perplexing to me. Let me see. In front of a colorful shelf. Does that change the picture? No, I don't get it. For the life of me, I just don't get it. That looks lame as shit with that background, doesn't it? How about the beach? Should I go over to the beach? Will that change the picture on Citizen Stringer? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because I'm wondering if it's just the background. See, the background on Citizen Stringer is still looking red as shite. And I don't know. So the picture is just getting warm as it goes. Like right now, it's very festive, right? I think it's very festive. This isn't a seizure. Someone said this is a seizure. There's no flashing lights here. It's just I'm in a tunnel, you know? Look at me. Here's a white wall. Let's see. Because technically, with a white wall background, I would be hard-pressed to have a red hue. And we'll see. I don't know. It's very odd. Very odd stuff. I like the brick wall too. See, it is. It's got to be something to do with the picture and it's turning it red because I'm definitely much, much lighter on Citizen Stringer, even though I'm still quite red. But like my output right here is not red at all, which is it's very odd. Very odd. I don't get it. Anyway. And they're all alive, so I'm not going to say their names. We will be saying the names of every victim that is killed. But they're all in the 27, 18, 20, and 22. None of the suspect information is available. No motive is known. The police just say they are looking to charge the persons or persons responsible with assault with a deadly weapon, but they don't know who that is, or at least they're not releasing that to the public. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, there was a mass shooting where one person was killed, 3 others were injured at an apartment complex, also Tuesday night. Tuesday was a deadly night in America, across America. It's crazy. Anyway, the Chapel Hill Police Department, as well as Chapel Hill Fire and Orange County EMS, responded to the 800 block of Pritchard Avenue extension at University Garden Apartments just after 6:18 p.m. on Tuesday. Police said upon arrival, they found multiple people shot in the area where their apartment building several blocks north of the UNC Chapel Hill campus. Police said on Tuesday night that there was a homicide in which one person died at the scene, 2 others were injured, a 4th person was injured, but not by gunfire, police said. The 3 shooting victims were taken to nearby hospitals. Orange County EMS said police do not believe there's an ongoing threat to the public. No suspect information is available. No motive is known for the shooting, like always. Let's go to the next one. Manhattan, New York. Manhattan. 4 people were shot in Harlem. Is Harlem in Manhattan? I didn't think it was. Anyway, a gunman opened fire in a group of people on West 116th Street near St. Nicholas Avenue around 11:45 p.m., striking all 4 men in their 20s. First responders rushed the victims to the hospital where authorities... I don't know. It's irritating me enough how red it is that I'm just going to end this. And yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It's sending it out because like I could see on Restream is receiving a red feed. So from here, but it did it with the other software too on a whole different computer. So I don't know why it's doing it. It's very peculiar. But it's changing it red because it like on YouTube and on Restream right now, it appears that I have a really bad sunburn, but I don't actually. So it's just red on your replay video. No, it's still red now. My face is still quite colorful. But anyway, I've already played this, so I'm going to just end this on Citizen Stringer, our streaming platform. We will have this hearing that we were going to cover, which is it's a field hearing on countering violent extremism, terrorism, and anti-Semitic threats in New Jersey. So we're going to have that up at 10 o'clock on Citizen Stringer. And that's probably going to do it for me for the day. My son has got a dentist appointment at 3 o'clock, and then my older boy has a football game. And I'm not doing night shows anymore. So I didn't get all the orders tallied for our major giveaway. So I'm going to do it one day, but it takes me a long time because I got to tally every single order over the past 30 days. And I'm going to throw all the cash apps and all that in it. So our mega Florida giveaway will likely be tomorrow night. So I'll do a show then. But make sure you stay tuned. I will be doing a show tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. All right, 8 a.m. Eastern time. We'll see you tomorrow. Everyone on Citizen Stringer, I'll be in the chat with you guys in about 8 minutes as we cover. Actually, let me see, because what I can do is I could do this, and then I could go like this, and then I could place a placeholder up for this video for when it does start, because it hasn't started yet. And then we will be over on Citizen Stringer, and I'll be in the chat with all you peeps. So we'll see you then. All right. Okay. Oh, wait, I can't end it this way. I got to end it this way. All right. Everyone on social media, we'll see you later. Bye.